Okay, hi guys. Thanks for joining us. Hi Java Beer. Just let me share my screen. Okay, so now you should be able to see my screen and hold on, just let me make sure I get the chat up too. Okay. That's cool. All right. Okay. So for today, I'm just going to give you guys some general updates. I think we are already quite sure, or we are already kind of quite well versed with what is happening. And I hope we are all busy trying to put in our last positions before the bull runs continue. So yeah, I think the theme for the day or for the week, as you can tell, Bitcoin last week, I think when we were having this discussion, I was asking if Bitcoin was going to break 60,000. I think we were probably somewhere here. Yeah. And I guess it's quite clear now that we are on a big bull run. We are at almost 67 now. So that's extremely great. And like I told you, right, last time when we spoke as well, I think Ethereum was still about 3.6 or 3.7 or so. And I said that that's not really the kind of amount that I'm looking for Ethereum to pump if it wants to confirm that this is going to be the start of another alt cycle. So clearly we have seen, if I've just go into Ethereum a little bit more and look at the past 7 days, it only started to pump on Wednesday. And when I spoke to you guys last week, yeah, it was probably about 3.8. So it came from about 3.8 all the way up to 4.3 only after only during the past 2 days. And while if we had look at Bitcoin, then we know that it has kind of always been on the rise for a long, long time now. So when we try and put these two timelines together, it clearly shows that this could just well be the start of the cycle, whereby Bitcoin is going up, and then we're starting to see Ethereum go up as well. And when you when you log onto CoinGecko and you look at everything and it's green, that is the next sign. And when you look at, if you were to sort it for me, if I were to sort it by 24-hour low to high, and there's almost nothing in the red, then clearly to me as well, that just shows that most things are going to be pumping really, really soon. So the next things, like I said, that we'll be looking to go, it will definitely be the major caps, right? So I think the one today, as I was looking through quite a couple of prices, Solana is up at 192. I would probably call that out as the one that is really going up the most among some of the other bigger blockchains. If we were to compare Solana, Cardano, Avex as well as Polygon, who is currently still kind of on their way up, but I guess not as significant as what Solana has done in the past week, 30%, and in the past day, 21.3%. So I think in one of the first few sessions that I spoke to you guys about, and we were discussing Cardano as well and how they fare against Solana. I think that was the time when they were releasing the smart contracts, and I was saying, while it really sounds good on paper, with regards to their peer review and things like that, but for the fact it took them so long to release the smart contract, just really goes to show at the kind of progress that they are making versus Solana, who have moved things along a little bit quicker. They may not be as perfect, so to say, but I think they are probably second to Ethereum at this point in time in terms of the number of real use cases, as we see more games and NFTs being launched on Solana at this point in time. That probably again goes to show why it's coming up this much. So just to reiterate the point here, I think this article came out a couple of days ago. Is really showing that October 19 is Wednesday when Ethereum started to pump, and we see Solana's price going up as well, and yet we still see Cardano at about 224. I would say that's not considered to be going anywhere in this market. So yeah, when we look at it in the number of pairings that are available, when we look at it versus BTC, it doesn't look like it's gonna go bull anytime soon. And when you look at chart patterns as well, it really goes to show that it's not looking very bullish at this point in time. So for me, I know there are many fans of Cardano out there, and don't get me wrong, I think it would still go big. But if I were to put my money somewhere for maximum gains before the winter comes, then I'll be looking at some of the other bigger blockchains like I've just mentioned. Yeah, so I think I've spoken a little bit about this as well. How Bitcoin got up to 67, I think it was close to 67. This article, I think it's just a couple of hours ago, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so it's about an hour ago. And we're starting to see prices recover. But what's more important to me is this article that was out also very recently that goes to show that it's not the ETFs that is driving this Bitcoin price jump. So if I were to put the many pieces, all of them right together for all of you, it basically just goes to show, firstly, because we are starting to see the cycle start. So we see Bitcoin pump, we see Ethereum pump, and we also see some of the major caps pump, right? So then the question that I had last week was also, we want to make sure that the Bitcoin inflation is not because of the ETFs and the prospect of it. So whales want to be putting their money because they know the ETFs are coming. But this really goes to show now with some research behind it that no, it's not really all due to the ETFs, and it's really because there are some inflation concerns. And I think this is one of the major drivers as to why everybody is so bullish on Bitcoin, simply because of one is the real use cases, as I mentioned, but I think secondly, since COVID started, money printing in the US has been at really a significant, if not an all-time high. Yeah, so that really relates to inflation here. And if this is the reason why it's driving Bitcoin this high, then I think it's also a sign to show that people are starting to be confident in the market again. And that's why we are seeing the effect of that as a whole. So again, I think coming back here, well, I do take heed to what Shukri has said around this is probably the last hurrah, and you want to try and make most out of this run. Especially if we were to know the cycles, we would expect some of that to impact the NFTs as well. So I think if you don't already know, the floors on the NFTs are quite low. I think a lot of people are trying to cash out of their NFTs and convert it back to, let's say, Ethereum or Solana at this point in time, because it's at an all-time high, to try and sell to try and cash out on their profits. And that's why the floor prices has been dipping for the past week or so. So because NFTs are relatively new in that sense. So it's interesting to see how the cycle impacts it and how it relates to. So as people take profits from NFTs, when these coins pumps, then the floor comes down, right? So then the next question is, do you want to get some into these NFTs? Because we know NFTs is still just getting started. And if you get in at a good floor, after the bull run and the alts come back down at the end of the day, NFTs might be the next thing to go up again, right? So we always have to try and be one step ahead, and especially when we know the cycle, we want to make sure that we make the right choices with it. So that is generally the overview of the market. And then I'm just going to go on again and highlight scamming and what's going on at this point in time. So unfortunately, I think we are starting to know of more and more people who have got scammed. And again, I think Shukri has said this before, that during this point in time where things are becoming good and well again, more and more people will start to come out here and try to capitalize on this with scams to try and make quick buck on your money. Yeah, so I think this is something that we just really need to take note of, right? So I think, I'm not sure if I mentioned it last week, but when you look at an NFT project, you really need to look at the level of engagement on their social media channels. What are they doing? Their roadmap. Sometimes they are backers as well. They might have a few companies, or the people behind the project. What's their background and what's the history there? What's the context they have? So that's really important. And I thought this article was quite interesting because of obviously this proves my point again that a hacker really came in and took close to about 88 Ethereum via a fake mint. But this is the interesting here, apart from just trying to warn you guys, right, about scams, and don't fall FOMO into things. But I remember when we first started into this crypto thing, there were a lot of talks about how crypto is for money laundering, and that's why people don't trust the crypto industry. But I think time and time again that has been proven wrong. Because if you were to look at it, even when hackers hack them, they realize that it's very tough for them to be able to spend the money without getting reviewed or without getting traced. Because basically, whenever you make a transaction, things show right in the blockchain, and you can always check. So this is another article here that we see. So you can see in 2017, a hacker actually took about 153,000 ETH from 3 projects. And so they have been trying to chase down this hacker for about 4 years now. And with all these scanners and stuff like that is upgrading, they managed to trace it, and they really are able to see who is the hacker, what's the address, and they post these things here to kind of tell them to say that if you are the hacker, you just give me back 90% of the original amount, and then we will let it be solved, right? So these two other articles just really to show more a little bit about, firstly, you got to be careful, especially with the NFT booms, don't get scammed. And secondly, I think for us in the whole in the crypto community, it's kind of quite nice to see at the end of the day that there is some form of governance behind it. So just like the whole decentralized thing and the risk that comes along with it is just part of crypto, right? And we just need to manage it accordingly and to watch out for each other as a community. Actually, there's something else I just wanted to show you guys regarding the Bitcoin dominance as well, and the altcoins and when we expect that to come. So like I mentioned, right, you can see Bitcoin dominance has been going up for a long time, but we are really starting to see some of it to come down now. You can see quite a couple of breaks of structures already, maybe somewhere around here. That's one, and you can even see another one here. So we're starting to see break of structure, and when we see the Bitcoin dominance start to come down, then you know what's coming next, right? So again, putting all of that together, the key point here is, please guys, just make sure you're well positioned to make the most out of the next upcoming run. Again, the last thing, just wanted to give you guys a reminder, just between last Friday and today, there's quite a couple of projects that are up again. This time we added Moonbeam, as well as Parallel Finance. I think this was probably the last Kusama crowd loan that I participated in, but now they are also on Polkadot. So don't forget to waitlist yourselves on these things. Like I mentioned again last week when I spoke, I think Polkadot was about $40. And I think now it's about 43.50, 44, it's about $4 up. So again, when I compared it with Kusama last week, I expect that to really go up quite significantly, as you see the number of projects here increasing, especially with big names like Akala, Centrifuge, Moonbeam, Equilibrium. Yeah, so make sure you don't miss out on this. And yeah, so with that, that's all for this week. So thanks guys for joining and supporting. I know Shukri is now away on most days. He's only live once and I'm live once too. So during these live shows, do tune in, give us your support, and then yeah, we will go to the moon together, right? See you guys.